And welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play Steins. In the last episode, Rintaro and Kurisu met at Meikwinyanya in order to discuss the strategy in regard to Rintaro's promised date with Rukako, but unfortunately to no avail. So currently Rintaro is walking through the streets of Akaba with Rukako in hand. I've got the entire day planned out of my head. Well, at least that's something. The next event is... Well, we don't have a very special destination in mind, but I'm sure there are a few shops we can peruse along the way. And it seems like Rukako is content with following Rintaro wherever he goes. It's Sobon holiday, so Akaba is crowded. To avoid the crowds, we end up walking through the back streets. My plan is to walk with Rukako all the way to Ueno and back. That should be enough, right? For today, maybe. For the other 2 days, probably not. Also, these shops are actually rather interesting and dynamic. I really like them. I walk quickly, and there's, you can see over there, right, there's the animate that Rintaro mentioned briefly. This conversation thing isn't going so well. Well, you can't win them all. I try to follow the guide's advice and be a really good listener, but Rukako is silent by nature. She doesn't really start talking on her own, and thanks to Rintaro's awkwardness, this conversation is definitely not going to be going anywhere anytime soon. Even at the family restaurant, the words we exchanged were mostly things like, "It's crowded today, it's delicious," and "It was delicious." Yeah, I think we're already failing at the first hurdle. Also the fact that, yeah, this is the first time Rintaro has ever socialized like this. And I think it was a mistake to just wander around as well. So, especially since we've ended up in a residential area with no interesting scenery whatsoever. Rukako speaks up. She's a few steps behind me.
Nanda.
I stop and turn around. I'm clicking way too fast there. Rukako catches up and we start walking together again. Well, at least it's nice weather outside and it isn't pouring down with rain. Do we remember what? Ah, the first time that you and Rintaro first met. In Rintaro's perspective, that would be the male counterpart on the other worldline. But Rintaro remembers enough. Of course, what I actually remember is how I met the male Rukako, as I just said. It was during Golden Week in May. I was searching Akaba for materials to buy a new future gadget lab. No, a new future gadget, not gadget lab because that already exists. When I saw Rukako in his Miko garb, surrounded by some cameramen. That does not bode well. And apparently these photographers appear to be rather obsessed otaku. Like everyone else, They seem to be making the exact same mistake as everyone does with Rukako, because even though Rukako appears feminine by nature, need I remind you yet again, Rukako Urushibara is male.
そのコスプレすごく燃えるっていうか、ここまで巫女服を着こなしてるレイヤー見たことないし。
He works at the shrine. That's why he well, even though Miko garb is normally worn by women, there shouldn't really be a difference, really.
これはコスプレじゃなくて。
Unfortunately, Rukako's nervousness is being kicked into overdrive, and thus he is unable to actually explain exactly just why he's wearing the robes in the first place.
可愛らしいポーズ取ってもらえるとめちゃ嬉しいんだけど。
Don't you just love anime fanatics?
あ、じゃああれだよ俺。ミコミコオーバードライブのめぐみた。来た！それ最高！めぐみたん知ってるよね？やってくれないかな？
Yeah, this situation is looking pretty grim.
知りません。すみません。
And now Rukako is incredibly upset, which is rather unfortunate.
なんでそんな嫌がるわけ？コスプレして秋葉に来たのって写真撮られるためなわけでしょ？なのに嫌がるとかおかしくない？
Rukako works at Yanabayashi's shrine. This is not a costume.
そうだよ。それとも俺たちがキモいから拒否ってるわけ？
And these otaku still think that Rukako is female.
違います。これはコスプレじゃなくて。
To be honest, the Miko garb fascinated me, because Miko are sacred, chosen to serve the gods. A fitting metaphor for a man of the like of Ho in Kiyoma. I know college girls are doing it for money these days, but as far as I'm concerned, that's sacrilege. As is demanding to photograph a sacred Miko, I couldn't let it pass.
そこのカメラ小僧ども。なんだよ君。
Abandon all hope, all you who enter here, for this is Ho in Kiyoma.
この俺を知らないだと。俺の名はホーイン・キョーマ。神が地上に具現せし灰色の脳細胞の持ち主にして世界に混沌をもたらす狂気のマッドサイエンティストだ。何こいつ。
And they're actually intimidated by him. That's a first. Well, he did say he was an insane mad scientist.
その巫女が嫌がっているだろう。なんという中二病ですか。
And of course, being otaku fanatics, they know what chunibyu is.
かっこよく女の子を助けてセックルに持ち込もうとしてんじゃね？下心見え見え。これだからドキュンは。
Once again, pot calling the kettle black, methinks.
ドキュンはお前たちだ。か弱い女子に男二人でまとわりつき、天津さえ変態写真を撮りたいと懇願すると。
Of course,
オタクのプライドすら捨てたか。
Of course, since this is the first time that Rintaro has encountered Rukako, he, like the unfortunate otaku photographers themselves, has not realized that Rukako is not a girl at all.
いえ、僕は。
聖なる巫女を怯えさせるカメラ小僧。カメラ小僧などではない。それは単なる変質者だ。お前たちに聖地秋葉を歩く資格はないと知れ。
I think we should let Rukako explain that he actually works at the shrine.
なんだと？可 可愛い三次元女子をローアングルから狙うのはみんなやってるだろう。
I think each and every one of you would probably be arrested and sent to jail.
素人のくせにお高く止まるなって言いたいね。秋葉にコスプレしてきてる時点で無差別に取られても文句言えないでしょマジで。
That's the thing. This isn't a costume. Rukako works at the shrine. How many times do I have to tell you this?
僕は男です。
Instantly, our jaws drop to the ground. For different reasons.
意味ないんですよ。
Rukako murmured sadly.
え、マジで？
Harassed by a bunch of fanatical otaku.
そんなの嘘だ。こんな可愛い子が男のはずが。
Sad but true.
男です。喉仏もありません。
Rukako lifted his chin a bit, exposing his pale neck. That gesture was really sexy, but there was indeed a lump on his neck.
じゃあ下もついているんですか？
Bit of a personal question there, but Rukako nodded reluctantly. He was already crying by that point. So were the cameramen.
なんだよ。紛らわしいな。
It's not Rukako's fault that you all made a terrible assumption. A, that he was wearing cosplay when in fact this is actually his work uniform. And B, that, yeah. That, you didn't really pay closer attention.
っていうか、男なのに巫女服着てるとか、マジ吉だろ。
He works at the shrine.
取らなくてよかった。騙された気分だよ。
You only have yourselves to blame for this travesty. They left the place, mumbling complaints all the while. Those bastards were a disgrace to otaku everywhere. Daru would have said something like, "Someone this cute can't be a girl." And so on and so forth. Daru is the true otaku.
どうもありがとうございました。
ああ、いや。
でも僕みたいな男を助けてがっかりですよね。期待に添えなくてすみません。
I don't think that's why he saved you.
お前、名前は？
漆原ルカです。
なぜ俺に謝った？
だって僕こんな顔なのに男だし。
そんなことはどうでもいい。お前が男だろうが女だろうが関係ない。だがその悲願だ根性気に入らないな。
And Rintaro is in full Hoin Kyoma mode. And Rukako is somewhat surprised by his outburst there.
ついてこい。お前にいいものをやる。そのアイテムさえあればお前は勇気を得る。お前の中に眠る真の力の存在にも気づくはずだ。
I believe that this is when Hoin Kyoma gives his soon-to-be disciple with the demon sword Samadare.
どうした？力が欲しくないのか？
And Rukako doesn't really know what to make of the situation.
いえ、力ですか？
I think in reality Rintaro is actually trying to help Rukako's self-confidence.
そう。俺はお前に力を与えることができる。さあ、求めろ。欲しろ。力を。神楽小僧にも負けない。お前だけの力を求めるのだ。
And that was how they first met.
まさかその後武器屋本舗に行ってサミダレを買ってもらえるとは思ってもみませんでした。
And just as I expected, soon after, Rintaro gave Rukako the blade Samadare.
なあ、いや、
I didn't expect he'd actually come with me. But when he did, I realized that he had potential. That's why I brought him the 980 yen tax-included demon sword. Afterwards, Rukako and I went through intense training to develop the Seishin Zanma School of Swordsmanship. In retrospect, I can't believe I said all that ridiculous stuff. It makes me want to crawl in a hole and hide.
とてもびっくりしましたけど、でも岡部さんがあの時言ってくれたそんなことはどうでもいいっていう言葉はすごく嬉しかったんです。変ですよね、そんな言葉に感動しちゃうなんて。
Rukako's cheeks then turned rosy pink. Her blush is too powerful. I have to look away.
でもその言葉があったから好きになったんです。
So that's the reason. Well, I actually believe in the case of the male Rukako from the original encounter. Ruka was probably so impressed by Rintaro's self-confident exterior that he often tried to emulate him, albeit to, unfortunately, to very little effect it would seem. But nevertheless, Rukako did try to live up to Hoen Kiyoma's expectations, even if he did keep getting the code phrase of El Sai Kongru wrong every time he was asked to say the code phrase. In the case of the female counterpart of Rukako, that self-same encounter means that she started developing feelings for him. Romantic feelings. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a goddamn second. Is she saying what I think she's saying? I think she is saying what I think you think she is saying. But that Rukako was a guy. Does that mean I made the guy Rukako fall in love with me? I actually don't think so. My mind goes blank, but actually now that I think of it, it is rather curious that you would actually remember that conversation the exact same way. Oh god. Don't think about it too hard, Rintaro. By the time I drop her off back at the shrine, I'm worn out physically and mentally. Well, we certainly did walk a long time, which was 4 hours straight, which was tiring, but my mental exhaustion is greater. In the end, we didn't talk much. We just walked, with no conversation whatsoever.
今日はすごく楽しかったです。
Well, Rukako seemed to think that the outing was fun, so I suppose a victory in that 1 point for us. She's just saying that out of consideration. I can tell that she's forcing her smile. All through the date, I couldn't stop thinking about the time Rukako fell in love with me, so I barely made any conversation at all. Again, that would be the Rukako that is currently before us now. The manual was completely useless, as was the person who bought it. On this world line, Rukako was a girl from the beginning, so Rukako's memories of when we first met might be inconsistent with mine. But even with that in consideration, Rukako's story still felt out of place. And it appears Rukako is still nervous. Rukako fidgets as she whispers.
Nanda?
Yes, we still have 2 more days of this.
Eh?
She wants to go on a date again tomorrow. Well, we did kind of agree to that. I mean, we are a couple and we are going out, and that means we like each other, and it's summer break right now, so it's natural to go on a date every day. Well, if we don't go through with this, we can't save Mayuri, so... Though now without the sanctuary of Ho in Kiyoma to fall back on, Rintaro is having trouble dealing with the situation. Rukako smiles again. She looks so happy and relieved. Seeing her like this makes incomprehensible feelings well up inside of me. I feel a huge weight on my shoulders. Another day tomorrow. Tomorrow, the 14th. And unfortunately, time leaping is out of the question. And there's Mayuri with once again her Japanese pun greeting. What are you, Kurisu all of a sudden? When I return to the lab, I'm greeted by Mayuri's smile and Daru's pure hatred. Nah, he's going to feel really, it's going to get even worse when he finds out that it's Rukako. Well, we managed to pass stage 1. Stage 2, however, is probably not going to go so well. Although, probably not, actually. Oh, the Komima's on the 15th. Unfortunately, that is the day in which Mayuri dies in this world line. Oh, we can't do that, unfortunately. I think it's safe to say that male or female, Rukako does not like cosplay at all. I'm sure I can feel Kurisu's eyes boring into me, not to mention Daru's as well. But thou must. Because Komima is on the 15th. Mayuri is fated to die that night. How am I supposed to spend the hours before her death cosplaying at Komima?
デートの面白さがさっぱり理解できない。
Yeah, that book, Dating for Dummies, completely overrated.
ゲーオカリンてめえ、それは世の中の童貞諸君を敵に回す発言だぞ。謝れ、童貞に謝れ。
だって考えてみろ。相手にひたすら気を使い、気まずい中で2人で歩き回って食事をして帰る。
Well, Daru and Rintaro argue back and forth. I'm just going to check the phone. And another mail from Kurisu. From an unpopular girl. I'm surprised she would actually refer to herself as such. I don't really care if you get yourself a girlfriend, but don't forget about the time leap machine. This thing is serious. We need to get everyone together and decide what to do with it. I understand you're doing this for Mayuri's sake. Just remember that there's more to this than Urushibara-san. To be honest, I'm still afraid of this monster I've created. I'd feel better if we could talk about it. We can't reply to that one, unfortunately. So we'll just leave it for the time being.
面白い要素があるか。
オカリン、そんなこと言うとね、ルカちゃんが悲しむよ。
I think Rukako actually feels the exact same way as Rintaro. Mayuri's expression is uncharacteristically serious.
好きな人と一緒にいるだけでね、女の子は幸せなんだよ。満足なんだよ。男の子はそうじゃないのかな。だとしたらマユシーは寂しいです。
Why would that make Mayuri sad?
オカリンがマイノリティなんだよ。つうかデートって言えばエロイベントたくさんあんだろう。
And Daru once again demonstrates his abilities as a class 11 otaku.
お前は実にバカだな。
And Rintaro with the Sundere.
手をつなぐとかマジエロくね。腕を組んでおっぱいを肘に当ててんのよ状態とかエロすぎっしょ。
You and your
そしてデー
Roja
トの終わりに
games.
はキスして締めだろ。チキショー、リア充のバカ。
You're actually making Ho and Kiyoma seem sane by comparison.
エロゲーのやりすぎだ。
That's a terrifying thought.
ねえねえ、ルカちゃんはいつからオカリンのことを好きだったのかな。
Yeah, about that.
いつからって、それは。
とてもびっくりしましたけど、でも岡部さんがあの時言ってくれたそんなことはどうでもいいっていう言葉はすごく嬉しかったんです。
Yeah. Now that we've heard this a second time, I can actually see where Rintaro thought that this conversation was out of place. Remember that in the original worldline, Rintaro Okabe, under the persona of Hoin Kiyoma, said that it didn't matter to him that Rukako was a guy dressed in Miko robes, because after all he was fulfilling his duties as a protector of the Yanabayashi shrine. But now the female Rukako remembers this the exact same way. So, we could be seeing something very similar to the likes of Faris, because eventually we learned that she actually did remember events from the previous worldline before her Demao changed everything. So it is kind of like, but not entirely unlike reading Steiner. But not like it either.
だから好きになったんです。
I think back on what she said. Something still feels off about her story. I said that Ruka's gender didn't matter. I remember that clearly. But didn't I say that because Rukako was a guy dressed in Miko robes?
そうだ。
Indeed we did.
そうだよ。変だ。
Something's not adding up. Now I know what feels out of place. I wouldn't have said that to a female Rukako. So why does she remember what I said back then? I recall what happened with Faris.
思い出したにゃ。フェイリスが叶えたのは10年前に死んだパパを生き返らせることにゃ。
Indeed, it's all as I just said 5 seconds ago, basically. Faris regained her memories from before she sent the email. Could Rukako too have remembered the previous worldline where she was a guy? That would certainly explain everything. However, she remembered that event and she said she liked me for it. So, did Rukako like me even when she was a guy? I think I need to check this out. Indeed we shall. The next morning I head to the shrine to meet with Rukako. So it's day 2 of the date with Ruka Urushibara, the female incarnation. But that will be in the next episode. So I shall leave you here for the time being, adventurers. When we return, we shall see if we can't, well, we'll see what happens in the next episode. As always, until next we meet, adventurers.